Before you our speaker, C.A. Shakshi Somani. She is Associate Member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, having qualified in May 2015. She is also Commerce graduate. She is associated with Messrs. SRL and Company Chartered Accountants since August 2016, dealing in indirect taxes with a special focus on goods and service tax. She has worked in different areas of indirect tax, which inter alia includes handling tax advisory, litigation, GST refund, GST audit of MNC and training. She has an academic bent of mind with a flair for public speaking. She has a very positive attitude towards her work and always looks for the interest of her clients. Now I request Steve Shakshi to take charge. Thank you.
Thank you, Sham, for such a kind introduction. Let us start. Okay, with no further ado, let's start our session. So today's topic is related to refunds. Refund is a thing जहाँ पे पैसे हमें आते हैं और हमें पेमेंट नहीं करना पड़ता है, तो इसलिए इट इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, क्योंकि क्लाइंट को जब पैसे मिलते हैं तो इट्स ऑलवेज बेनिफिशियल टू अस ऑल्सो. सो लेट अस मेक इट मोर इंटरेस्टिंग. तो आई विल बी कवरिंग दीज टॉपिक्स. रिफंड रिलेटेड जो भी सेक्शंस है, सेक्शन 54 to 58, rules from 89 to 97A, and circulars and the latest amendments which have been covered up. Refund under GST. अब रिफंड तो मिल जाएगा, बट कौन से ग्रुप्स पे मिलेगा, लेट अस डिस्कस दैट. Refund of excess balance in electronic cash ledger, refund to UNO, refund of unutilized input tax credit, refund of tax paid on export or SEZ supply of goods or services, or both. We will be discussing all these topics in detail. I'm just briefing it out. Refund of excess payment of tax, refund of tax paid on intrastate supply which is subsequently held to be interstate supply, and vice versa. Refund on account of assessment, provisional assessment, appeal, or any other order. Refund on account of or any other ground or reasons, and refund paid on deemed exports. Further going ahead, let us understand what is refund. What refund definition says. Refund includes, first of all, let us understand that refund is an inclusive definition. It includes refund of tax paid on zero rated supplies of goods or services, or both, or on inputs or input services used in making such zero rated supplies, or refund of tax on supply of goods regarded as deemed export, or refund of unutilized input tax credit. दिस इज इंक्लूसिव, मीन्स इनके अलावा और भी है जिन पे हमें रिफंड मिलेगा, विच आर कवर्ड इन अदर सेक्शंस एंड नोटिफिकेशंस, बट दिस इज एन इंक्लूसिव डेफिनेशन. Section 54(1) says any person claiming refund. That means any person can claim refund. For this, let me give an example. If a transporter is taking goods and if anyone stops him, if the government stops him for making payment, and if he had made payment, he has to make payment of 8,000 rupees, but he has made payment of 80,000 by mistake, so he is not registered at that time, but he can claim the refund of that excess payment, provided that a registered person. But for claiming the refund, you need to get a registration. Any person can claim the refund, but for claiming the refund, you need to get registered. Provided that a registered person claiming refund of any balance in the electronic cash ledger in accordance with the provision of subsection 6 of section 49 may claim refund in the return under section 39. ये पहले गवर्नमेंट ने लेके आए थे कि जब GSTR 3 या आप फाइल करेंगे, उसमें एक ऑप्शन रहेगा कि आप वहां पे ही आप मेंशन कर दीजिए कि इतना अमाउंट का हमें रिफंड चाहिए, एंड इट विल गेट credited in your account. But as this facility was not available till now, you have to file an GST refund application for excess balance in the electronic cash ledger under GST RFD 01. So what are the reasons in which you can claim the excess credit balance, excess cash balance in electronic cash ledger? If you have by mistakenly deposited excess amount through Challan, then you can claim the refund of that excess amount in your that is present in your cash ledger. If the amount has been deposited by TDS or TCS, which is filed under GSTR 7 and 8 by the government authorities or e-commerce operators. If that amount is excess, let's take an example for that. If you have an ample amount of credit in your electronic credit ledger and the TDS amount is also getting deposited in your cash ledger, in that case, if that amount is not getting utilized for the payment of your tax amount, then what to do? That TDS amount can be taken as refund in electronic cash ledger. Another scenario, if while filing GSTR 7 by the government authorities, if they deposit excess amount in the electronic cash ledger and that is not utilized for filing the return, that amount can also be taken refund, but the time period is 2 years from the relevant date. Relevant date will be discussed later on, so I'm not taking at present. Now going further, refund as per section 54(2) of the CGST Act of tax paid on inward supplies of goods and services or both by UNO etc. notified under section 55. Now who are the specified peoples जो गवर्नमेंट ने स्पेसिफाई किए हुए हैं जो इस सेक्शन के अंडर रिफंड क्लेम कर सकते हैं? The agencies that are notified are specified agencies of United Nation organizations, consulate or embassies of foreign countries, any person notified by the commissioner. Now, these people are not required to pay any tax. They are not liable to pay any tax under current GST regime. Hence, any tax collected from such persons or bodies are refunded back to them. They are not required to pay any tax. So, any credit amount which is there in their credit ledger, they can claim the refund of that. For that, they have to take a unique identification. They are not required to take GST number. But if they do any supply, which is for the course or furtherance of business, then they have to take the GST number and they are not allowed to take the refund. Like if they take any capital goods and sell that within 3 years, that is there are some criteria. If they sell it in within 3 years, they are not eligible to take the refund of that amount. Time limit for taking the refund by UN organization is 6 months from the relevant date. 6 months from the relevant date. Relevant date is the last date of the quarter. We'll take an example in that. If a UN organization receives an inward supplies of goods or services in the month of January and files the form GSTR 11 for in the month of February, the quarter will be Jan to March and the last date will be 31st March. 31st March will be the last date of that quarter. 6 months from that last date, that will be 30th September. Till that date, they can claim the refund. Hope I'm clear. GST RFD 10, but for that they have to file the return GST RFD 10 and not GST RFD 1. This is done for this. Hope I'm clear. Now going further, this is very important. So please, I really want everyone should pay concentration. Refund of unutilized input tax credit. This should be considered the heart of refund because almost everyone faces this kind of refunds. Now we'll understand first which are not eligible for refund. Then we'll go for eligibility. Suppliers avail drawback in respect of central tax or indirect IGST, they are not eligible. Means if they are taking drawback of any GST paid while making export, then they are not eligible to take the ITC credit refund of unutilized input tax credit. But let me specify one thing in this. If you are taking any custom duty refund, then you can take the refund of unutilized input tax credit. It is only about IGST. If you are taking drawback of IGST, CGST or SGST, then only you are not eligible to take the refund of unutilized input tax credit. Second, goods exported out of India which were subjected to export duty. There are certain goods which have been specified by the government which are subject to export duty. Hence, we cannot take the refund of unutilized input tax credit on such goods. Now, coming to the eligible part, eligible for refund. What are the goods which are eligible for refund? Zero rated supplies, inverted duty structure. Now, zero rated supplies. What are zero rated supplies? Export of goods or services or both. Supply of goods or services to SEZ developers or SEZ unit. And for inverted duty structure, tax of input is more than the rate of tax on output supplies and at concessional rate. We'll go further. In inverted duty structure, one thing we need to understand that any credit of nil rated or exempt supplies goods cannot be claimed as refund because they are block credit as per section 17.1 and section 17.2. When they are block credits, there is no question of taking the refund because we cannot take the credit even, so there is no point of taking the refund. So we have to take care about this while filing inverted duty structure refund. Other credits of which are used in nil rated or fully exempted goods, they are blocked, so we cannot take the refund of those credit. Now, zero rated supplies made without payment of tax. We'll understand that. What are zero rated supplies? Taxpayer may supply goods or services or both under bond or letter of undertaking and claim refund of unutilized input tax credit paid on input goods and services. As per Rule 89.4, you can take the refund of input goods and input services and not capital goods. You need to understand, take care about this, that you cannot claim the refund of unutilized input tax credit of capital goods. अब इसमें ऐसा भी हुआ है that people have taken refund of capital goods by calculating and वो बोलते हैं कि refund तो आ गया है, problem क्या है. But कभी भी erroneous refund में उस चीज का query आई तो उस केस में आपको इंटरेस्ट के साथ पेमेंट करना पड़ेगा, which will be a hardship for the client. So we need to take care about this, that हम capital goods का रिफंड ना क्लेम करें जब भी रिफंड की एप्लीकेशन फाइल करते हैं, तो ये चीज हमें ध्यान रखनी है. व्हाट इफ वी अभी हमने समझा कि एग्जेम्प्ट गुड्स की हम क्रेडिट क्लेम नहीं कर सकते, बट if we export these exempt goods, then what to do? If the exempt goods are exported, they automatically get converted into zero rated supplies, and hence we can claim the credit and also claim the refund of that unutilized input tax credit. We'll understand the formula for refund. Refund will be turnover of zero rated supply of goods plus turnover of zero rated supply of services into net ITC divided by adjusted total turnover. Now, what is adjusted total turnover means? Adjusted total turnover means the turnover in a state or a union territory as defined under the clause 112 of section 2, excluding the value of exempt supplies other than zero rated supplies during the relevant period. If we are not allowed to take the credit of exempt goods, then we are also not required to add the exempted supplies other than zero rated supply, specifying over here that zero rated supplies, अगर हम exempt supplies को export कर रहे हैं, they will be converted in zero rated supplies. So only exempted supplies which are domestically sold, that is to be excluded while calculating adjusted total turnover. Now, one amendment has come in notification 16/2020, which has been also specified in our circular 147, which specifies that zero rated supply, I will read out the definition which has been changed. Turnover of zero rated supplies. Turnover of zero rated supplies means the value of zero rated supply of goods made during the relevant period without payment of tax under bond or letter of undertaking, or the value which is 1.5 times the value of the goods domestically supplied. Means if any export has been done which is more than 1.5 times the value of the domestic goods, then that amount will not be refunded. I will explain this with an illustration which I have been provided. Let's take that ITC is of 270 rupees. Local supply is 200. So the turnover is 1000 rupees, and that same goods, and that in that you have to take care that it should be supplied by the same or similarly placed supplier. Means it should be a similar goods, then it will apply, the rule will apply. Export you have done of 350 rupees per unit, then the turnover will be 1750. But as per the amendment, you can claim the refund for only 1500 turnover. That means 1.5 times of the rate which you have taken for selling of in the domestic market, that is 200 into 5 units, which gives you 1500. So in that case, you can only claim the refund of 162 rupees and not for 2750. Means only 2500 can be taken as your adjusted total turnover. Means adjusted total turnover will be 1000 plus 1500, and which will come to 2500, which gives you refund of 162 rupees. This can be considered as a hardship also. Means गवर्नमेंट ये कहना चाहती है आपको प्रॉफिट रखना है रखो, बट हम तो आपको टर्नओवर इतना ही देंगे फॉर क्लेमिंग योर रिफंड अमाउंट. In case of export, this was zero rated supply. We have two parts in zero rated supply, and export and SEZ. Some common points have been shared, but in export there are some documents which are to be taken as separate, and in SEZ which are separate. I will discuss that. In case of export, the claim of refund cannot be processed without GSTIN and GST invoice details in shipping bills. अब हमने सारे documents तो proper रख लिए. Export किसको करना है, export के amount, we have decided all the documents, shipping bills, everything. But we forgot to mention our GST details or GST invoice details in shipping bill. We will not be able to claim the refund of that. So we have to take care, and we have to specify all these details to our client, that you have to mention all these small things. You have to take care about all these small things, and have to mention all the your GST number and GST invoice details in shipping bill. In case of supplies to SEZ unit or developers, the claim of refund cannot be processed without endorsement letter, which is issued by the specified officer of zone, which is received once supplies have been received by SEZ unit. Now, in this case, when goods are supplied to SEZ unit, it gets clear, and there is a noting done in while entering in the SEZ unit. At that time, it is very easy to get the endorsement letter, and the client generally remembers that. But in case of supplies of services, in that case, they generally tend to forget to take this endorsement letter. So we have to make sure that we specify all these documents which are required for refund to the client, that you have to collect all these documents, because iske bina you cannot claim the refund. This is very much required for claiming any refund, and If you go later on for taking this endorsement letter after 2-3 months of providing your service and raising invoice, it pretty gets difficult to collect that endorsement letter. So this letter is to be provided, this information is to be provided to the client that this letter is to be compulsorily collected for claiming refund. Now, if you take any bond or letter of undertaking, this binds you with some tax along with interest. If within 15 days of expiry of 3 months from the date of invoice for the export, if goods meant for export are not exported out of India, if the goods which are to be exported within 3 months, if they have not been exported, you have to pay the tax along with the interest. And in case of services, if the amount is not received within 1 year, then within 15 days of the expiry of that 1 year, you have to make the payment of your tax with interest, and the amount should be received in convertible foreign exchange. But there is an amendment in the Central Goods and Service Tax Act 2018 which amends the entry which says that the payment of such services has been received by the supplier of service in convertible foreign exchange or in Indian rupees where permitted by the Reserve Bank of India. Now, like take an example, if we receive any amount from Nepal or Bhutan, we generally receive at times in Indian rupees. So Reserve Bank of India has permitted that amount, and we have to see to it that there are only few things which have few state countries which have been permitted by the Reserve Bank of India for making a payment other than convertible foreign exchange. So before that you have to consider that किससे हमें convertible foreign exchange के अलावा में convertible foreign exchange में मिल सकता है, किससे हमें Indian rupees में मिलेगा तो भी चलेगा, then and it won't be considered as non-export. Some conditions for taking LUT and bond. Who are eligible to take LUT? All the registered persons except who have been prosecuted for any offence under CGST or IGST or any existing law in force in case where the amount of tax evaded exceeds rupees 2.5 lakhs. If you have made any evasion and prosecuted for any offence under CGST or IGST Act of amount more than 2.5 lakhs, then you are not eligible to take letter of undertaking, that is LUT. You have to take bond only. Bond means you have to self-assess an estimated tax amount on tax liability on export. That means any amount that if you would have done in domestic, that tax amount, and 15% of that bond amount is to be given as a bank guarantee. That amount automatically gets refunded when you have done your export and provide all the documents to the jurisdictional officer that you have made a valid export, and that bond is released and that gets credited in your account. Now, LUT is required to be issued for a financial year in the annexure to form GST RFD 11, and bond shall be furnished on a non-jurisdictional judicial stamp paper of the value as applicable in the state in which the bond is being furnished. Now, if you forgot to take the LUT while making export, you have done export and then just you realize that you have done export but you didn't took the LUT, then what? Will it be considered as domestic sale and you have to pay the tax? No. Circular number 125/44/2019 says that it is emphasized that the substantive benefit of zero rating may not be denied where it has been established that export in terms of relevant provisions have been made. The delay in furnishing the LUT in such cases may be condoned, and the facility of export under LUT may be allowed on ex post facto, means you have to provide some facts that you have made a valid export. You have to provide the documents that you have made a valid export in case some inquiry comes, but you can take LUT after making export in such cases. It won't be considered as domestic sale, it will be valid export. But I would say that these things should be pre-decided, and LUT should be filed early. Now, going further with inverted duty structure. Now, in inverted duty structure, किस चीज का हमें रिफंड मिलेगा? Taxpayer may supply goods or service or both and claim refund of unutilized input tax credit paid on input goods as per Rule 89(5). Rule कहता है सिर्फ गुड्स का ही मिलेगा, but there are some case studies of Gujarat High Court and Madras High Court which contradicts to each other. First, I will describe what Gujarat High Court says, and then we'll discuss what Madras High Court says. Gujarat High Court says that as per Act, as per law, you can claim the refund of unutilized input tax credit. Unutilized input tax credit includes everything, goods and services both. Hence, rule cannot subside the act, and hence input goods and input services both credit can be allowed. But Madras High Court specified Rule 89(5), and they said that as it stands today is analyzed in context of section 54(3)(2), it is clear that net ITC has been redefined in the amended Rule 89(5) so as to provide for the refund only of unutilized ITC that accumulates on account of input goods, whereas unamended Rule 89(5) net ITC covered not only ITC availed on input goods but also input services. This amendment was done on 18th April 2018. Before that, it was allowed input goods and input services both. But after this amendment, rule says that only input goods refund can be taken. This case is still going on in Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court recently have specified some points which I will brief out. In Article 4, if they specified that does this rule breaks the whole core of Article 14 of Constitution, means they said this one should not discriminate between goods and services. So let's see what the final outcome comes. But till that, the rules has specified that input goods credit can be taken, and it's on us which call we need to take, if we should go for input goods and services both or input goods only. There are many litigations still going on, still pending, but hopefully we'll get a positive response from Supreme Court. One relaxation has come in inverted duty tax structure, which specified that there was a notification 5/2017, which specified that textile sectors, some textile sector goods were not eligible to take the refund of inverted duty structure, but which was amended on in notification 20/2018, that you can take the refund of inverted duty structure, because in that there was a higher rate at during the purchase of the fabrics, and at the sale it was 5%, 18% in purchase. They were not able to take the refund. But there was also a hardship in this. They specified that though provided a relief to the textile sector, however, fine reading of the notification reveals that any balance in the input tax credit as on 31st July 2018 shall lapse. Means if any credit is pending on 31st July, that you have to reverse in your August month return or through DRC3, then only you can claim the refund of the credit which are pending from August returns. We have discussed inverted duty structure of where the credit has accumulated on account of rate of tax on inputs being higher than the rate of tax of output goods. Now we'll go for concessional rate. In this part also you can claim the refund of inverted duty structure. When you do any supplies to merchant exporter, you pay the tax at 0.05 or 0.1%, and you purchase the goods at a higher rate of 15, 18, 12 or 5%. So in that case also you can claim, the supplier can claim the refund of in the inverted duty tax structure. Now what to do for the exporter? Exporter के पास जो credit रहेगी 0.05% or 0.1%, that will also get accumulated. Then how to claim the refund of that? We'll discuss that later. Keep this question in your mind. I have seen. So time limit for claiming the refund is 2 years from the relevant date. There is change in the relevant date. It was previously it was from the year end. Now the date has been changed. We'll discuss that. Refund of tax paid on export or SEZ supplies of goods and services or both with payment of tax. Refund of IGST paid in two cases: export of goods or services or both, and supply of goods and services to SEZ developers. When we do export of goods or services, the implications over here with payment of GST is different. When we export goods, there is no separate refund application required, as the shipping bill itself will be treated as the refund application. The relevant amount need to be filed in table 3.1b. This is very important that the details are to be specified in 3.1b. There was a notification, means people have done mistake by mistake that 3.1a में details डाल दी है, and government ने ये बोला भी है कि अगर आपने गलती से 3.1a में डाल दिया है details, then you can still claim the refund by filing GST RFD 01A. बट उसमें भी प्रॉब्लम्स आई है, तो आई वुड ऑलवेज सजेस्ट कि आप ये चीज पहले से ही ध्यान रखें कि 3.1b में डालें. बट yes, you can claim the refund. There are problems still going on, but yes, you can claim the refund if you have by mistakenly entered the details in 3.1a. The IGST amount is to be entered should be entered here should be either equal or greater than the total IGST filed in table 6A of corresponding GSTR1. The amount should be higher. Means आपने टैक्स ज्यादा भरा है, जितना आप रिफंड क्लेम कर रहे हो उससे, तभी आपको रिफंड मिलेगा. Otherwise there will be a query. And in this automatic refund, I would say that if the details in GSTR1 is also not specified properly, then also there are chances that your refund might get delayed, or you might get some queries from IceGate, and you have to unnecessarily go to the IceGate department, to the custom officer or to the GST. And because GST officers are not helping, they are saying that it is automatic and you have to go to the custom officer only. So in this case, one thing is to be taken care of is, if you provide all the details properly, then refund will be surely coming. But if any details provided in this is not matching with the shipping bill, then there will be some consequences. The details entered in the form GSTR1 will be matched with the details mentioned in the shipping bill as filed with IceGate. आइसगेट में जो डिटेल्स दिए उससे मैच होना चाहिए. फॉर दिस आई वुड सजेस्ट दैट आइसगेट की साइट पे जाके, कस्टम की साइट पे जाके अपन डिटेल्स चेक कर सकते हैं हमारे बिल्स की, सो दैट हमारा जो भी बिल डिटेल्स हम अंदर डाल रहे हैं उसमें माइन्यूट चेंजेस, माइन्यूट एरर्स भी ना हो. You can go and check your bill details. The IceGate will then process the refund and credit the same in the bank account as mentioned by the taxpayer. Now, in case of export of services, a separate refund application in RFD 01 is required. Export of goods may no separate application was required, but in export of services, a separate refund application, that is RFD 01, is required. Taxpayer must have BRC or FIRC number details for the export document, which is to be mentioned while claiming refund. This document is very important for claiming refund. If you don't have these certificates, then refund will not be granted to you. The amount of refund and the bank account number in which the refund is credited will also be provided अब इसमें एक चीज ध्यान रखनी है कि कई बार हमारा बैंक अकाउंट चेंज हो जाता है, बट हम जीएसटी के साइट पे, जीएसटी पोर्टल पे उस अमेंड करना भूल जाते हैं, एंड हम वही पुराना अपना बैंक अकाउंट डिटेल्स डाल देते हैं। उसमें कई बार ऐसा आता है कि गवर्नमेंट, जब हमें रिफंड तो आता नहीं, हम गवर्नमेंट के पास जाके बोलते हैं, डिपार्टमेंट में जाके बोलते हैं कि रिफंड आया नहीं, एंड दे आर सेइंग दैट सैंक्शन, इट हैज ऑलरेडी बीन सैंक्शन एंड बीन डिपॉजिटेड. So in that case, this is very important that you amend your bank details well before filing your refund application for getting the refund. Now we'll understand a summary of export of goods and services, what we have understood before. If a supply has been done by a registered taxable person, that is exporter, outside India, that will be considered as interstate supply. In case of goods, if taxable goods are supplied, shipping bill should be there, tax invoice should be there, commercial invoice should be there. On payment of IGST, refund of IGST will be done. And if you are doing under bond or LUT, you will get a refund of unutilized input tax credit. If exempted goods are supplied, there is no requirement of bond or LUT. Under circular number 125/44/2019, it has been specified that if you are doing export of any exempted goods, there is no requirement of any bond, and you will claim the refund of unutilized ITC even though it is exempt. In this circular, they have specified exempted goods and not specified services. So it is still not clear that in case of services, we need to take LUT or not. So it is advisable that you can take the LUT and then export the exempted supplies and claim the refund of unutilized input tax credit. In case of services, if taxable goods are taxable services are provided, tax invoice is required. On payment of IGST, refund of IGST paid, and under LUT, refund of unutilized input tax credit is received. Now, in case of SEZ, refund procedure with payment of tax, what things we need to take care about is outward supply made to SEZ unit or developer. Any supply of SEZ unit or developer, any supply to SEZ unit or developer is considered as interstate supply. This thing is to be considered and understood very well, that any supply which is done to SEZ unit will be considered as interstate supply as per section 7.5 of IGST Act. Hence, in order to supply to SEZ unit or developer, one need to obtain GST registration. So a composition dealer cannot supply to SEZ supply because there is a restriction that composition registered person cannot make any interstate supply. You need to have a regular registration. The data of sales is to be mentioned in table 4A of B2B invoices of GSTR 1. It must be noted that the details of shipping bill or bill of export is not required in case of supplies made to SEZ unit. There is no required of any bill of export or shipping bill, and you can file the refund application in GST RFD 01. What if any supply has been done to by SEZ to any other person? We have understood if domestic DTA do any supply to SEZ, then how we can claim the refund. But in case of SEZ supplying to DTA, now if SEZ is supplying to DTA, that is exempt. That is specifically exempt. When a SEZ supplies goods or services or both to anyone, it will be considered as a regular interstate supply and will attract IGST. The exception to this is when SEZ supplies goods or services or both to a domestic tariff area. This will be considered an export to DTA and which will be considered as exempt for the SEZ. And the custom duties and other import duties will be payable by the person receiving the DTA. It will be considered an export, and when SEZ is exporting to DTA, DTA will consider that goods as import, and he has to pay the import duties and custom duties while importing while acquiring any goods from SEZ unit. Any supply made by SEZ unit to SEZ unit is an exempt supply. Here a flow chart is there. SEZ to SEZ exempt, SEZ to DTA is exempt, but in case of others. Now what are these other cases? When any SEZ is supplying to merchant exporter, then he has to pay 0.05 or 0.1% of GST amount, and which he cannot claim as refund. Now, one point has to be taken care of, that within 90 days, that merchant exporter has to make sale, has to make export. Otherwise, this benefit of concessional rate of 0.05% or 0.1% will not be received to SEZ, and SEZ has to make payment of full GST, which is applicable to the goods which has been exported. Time limit. The applicant, in order to claim the refund of tax paid, may make an application before the expiry of 2 years from the relevant date. One thing, while making an application, you have to consider that in the goods, the ITC of which you are claiming refund are eligible ITC. At times, I have seen people, clients do take the credit of motor cars also. That is not an eligible ITC, and you cannot claim the refund of that ITC. So you have to take care of about this while filing the refund application, that ऐसी कोई भी ITC ना हो जो eligible नहीं है to take refund. I will also give an example of one more thing. If coal is being used for making electricity, producing electricity, which is exempt, which is not under GST, but this electricity is used for export of aluminium, which is chargeable. In that case, can we claim the refund of the ITC that has been accumulated due to coal? Yes, you can claim the ITC of that coal. The department has said that there is no distinction between intermediate goods or final goods. Means if the raw material or store spare parts are used for manufacturing of any intermediate goods which is used for final production, for production of any final product which is being exported, then in that case you can claim the refund of any intermediate goods also. Hope I'm clear with this. One more point I want to cover in inverted duty structure is that in case of inverted duty structure, if we have inputs of 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28% even, and our final supply is of maybe of 12%, then in that case, can we claim the refund of all the ITC? This is covered. For this, I will go back. Yes, one issue and contention has been shared. A manufacturing industry may have multiple inputs and variable tax rate. Some having a lower rate than output, some having the same rate as output, and some are of the nature of inverted tax structure. In that case, can we claim the refund of all the ITC? As per the explanation to the formula for the computation, net ITC shall mean the input tax credit availed on inputs during the relevant period other than the input tax credit availed for which refund is claimed under sub-rule 4A or 4B or both. Hence, that means they do not deny any ITC which is not used for the production of goods or services which is of lower rate. It is important to note that it does not specifically mention inputs having a higher GST rate than output supplies. Means कोई भी अमाउंट हो जीएसटी का, कोई भी रेट का हो जीएसटी, उस चीज का हम रिफंड ले सकते हैं. Therefore, the purpose for calculating the refund claim on account of inverted duty structure, the entire credit of inputs can be considered, and this is very important to note. People only take the credit of the ITC of which falls under inverted duty structure, जो higher rate पे है और हम sell कर रहे हैं तो lower rate पे. No, you can claim the credit of refund of all the unutilized input tax credit that are pending. Hope I am clear with this. Now we'll go further. Refund of excess payment of tax. In how we claim the refund of excess payment of tax. What are the situations where it can fall? Wrong mention of nature of tax. If we have wrongly mentioned any CGST, SGST or IGST, where it should be CGST and wrongly we have taken the amount in cess and made the payment while filing the GSTR 3B. In case of wrong mention of GSTN, if we mention a wrong GSTN, we cannot claim the refund. No refund in that. Means गलती से हमने गलत GSTN नंबर डाल के पेमेंट कर दिया और हम बोल दे कि हमने एक्सेस पेमेंट कर दिया है, तो नो, यू कैन नॉट क्लेम द रिफंड. यू हैव टू इशू अ क्रेडिट नोट इन दैट केस एंड देन you can nullify the effect of wrong GST number, but you cannot claim the refund of that. Wrong mention of tax. If any excess amount of tax is mentioned while filing return, let's say if I had a sale of 50 lakhs and on that 10 lakhs amount of tax is to be deposited, but I wrongfully did it 1 crore, 1 extra zero. So in that case, अब आगे सारे रिटर्न्स में तो इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल कि मैं 1 करोड़ को सेटल करती जाऊं. जब एक्सेस अमाउंट हो जाता है विच कैन नॉट बी सेटल्ड इन फर्दर रिटर्न्स, देन इन दैट केस यू हैव टू claim the refund of that amount, excess amount tax paid, and you can claim the refund of that. In any other reason, you can file the refund application in the form GST RFD 01. A statement showing the details of the amount of claim of on account of excess payment of tax as per rule 89(2)K is to be submitted. Time limit is 2 years from the relevant date. Now, in case of refund of tax on intrastate supplies, which is subsequently held to be interstate supply and vice versa. I will give an example in this case. In case of hotel industry, if I, being in Gujarat, visit any hotels in, let's say Bangalore, in that case, they were supposed, I have given my GST number because I have done, I am going for a business tour. I have given my GST number, and in that case, they have taken my GST number, and wrongly, just being my GST number from of different state, they have provided me an IGST bill. But in this case, it should be, as the place of supply is in Bangalore, supplier is in Bangalore, recipient is in Bangalore, then in that case, the bill should have been mentioned with CGST and SGST. But they have filed the return, they have paid the tax also, and after that they realize that it should be considered as intrastate supply and not interstate supply. In that case, they have to take the refund of the tax, wrong amount of tax they have paid, and again they have to make CGST and SGST, payment of CGST and SGST. So in this case, they can claim the refund of IGST they have paid, and they have to make payment of CGST and SGST. In this case, one thing is to be noted as that interest amount is not to be collected, because government has issued a notification or something that interest amount is not to be provided if any amount is wrongfully deposited in as an interstate supply, because you have already paid the tax. It's just the classification was wrong. So in that case, you are not required to pay the interest amount. The application is to be done before the expiry of 2 years from the relevant date. Now, refund on account of assessment or provisional assessment or appeal or any other order. If let's say in any appeal, you have filed an appeal and made the payment, pre-deposit payment or a 20% payment, which is to be done filing the appeal. You have made that payment, and after the order is released, it comes in favor of it. It comes in your favor. In that case, that amount which has been deposited, that amount can be claimed as refund. But one thing is to be considered is taxpayer can claim the refund by providing order details. For a single order, refund application can be filed once. अगर एक order मिला है तो उसके ऊपर आप 5-7 application नहीं कर सकते. You can only file one application. That is GST RFD 01 as notified under CGST rules or circular. And there are some documents which are to be uploaded while filing this GST RFD 01. We will discuss all the documents which are to be attached later on. Time limit. The applicant, in order to claim the refund, may make an application before the expiry of 2 years from the relevant date. Now we'll discuss refund on account of any other ground or reason. As we have discussed the main parts, now what to do if any international tourist have visited our country. In that case, it shall be treated as an interstate supply only, and hence IGST is to be levied on any sales done to them. If we are making any sale to the international tourist, then we have to apply IGST. It will be considered as interstate supply. The tourist can apply for the refund of goods that are taken out of India and not services or goods consumed in India. They can claim the refund of only goods which are taken out of India and not the services, though the services or any services which are consumed in India and any goods which are consumed in India, they cannot claim the refund of that. Refund of balance in electronic cash ledger. अब वो जो पहले तो पढ़ा था, तो what is this? This is where any advance payment has been received and service is not provided, service or goods have not been provided. In that case, the taxpayer can apply for refund of tax paid on supply which is not provided either wholly or partially, and for which invoice has not been issued. One thing which we need to consider is that invoice should also not be issued. If invoice has been issued and you have not provided the service, then you have to issue a credit note for that and reverse the entry, and you cannot claim the refund. But if you have not raised any invoice and you have received any advance payment, and on that if you have made the GST amount, if you have paid the GST amount, in that case you can claim the refund. Refund in case of casual taxable person or non-resident taxable person. Casual taxable person or non-resident taxable person shall have to self-assess their estimated liability and deposit it in advance. You have to make the payment in advance. Whatever tax you determine that will come in future, you have to make that payment in advance. If after adjustment of tax liability any amount is remaining in the cash ledger, that can be claimed as refund in the form GST RFD 01. but that amount is to be claimed as refund in the final return before filing of the last return. Now, in case of merchant exporter, we have very well discussed before that if a supplier is selling any goods to merchant exporter, he has to make payment of 0.05 or 0.1% of tax, and he can claim the refund of under inverted duty structure. But what if a merchant exporter is merchant exporters are the person who are only exporting the goods. They are not going to do any domestic sales. So in that case, any tax amount which are unutilized in their electronic credit ledger, that is 0.05% or 0.1%, which are paid to the supplier, that amount will, can that amount be claimed as a refund? Yes. This refund of accumulated ITC under Rule 89(4)(b) of CGST rules shall be applied under the category any other instead of under the category of refund of unutilized ITC on account of exports without payment of tax in Form GST RFD 01, and shall be accompanied by all the supporting documents required for substantiating the refund claim under the category refund of unutilized ITC on account of exports without payment of tax. After scrutinizing the application for the completeness of eligibility, if the proper officer is satisfied that the whole or any part of the amount claimed is payable as refund, he shall refund the taxpayer in writing to debit the said amount from electronic credit ledger through DRC03. This thing is to be noted over here is that any credit amount that is in his electronic credit ledger is to be paid through DRC03, and if we provide that supporting to the proper officer, in that case he will proceed the issue the refund order in GST RFD 06 and the payment order in GST RFD 05. So in this case you cannot claim the refund under unutilized ITC or ITC on account of export without payment of tax. You have to make the refund application in any other option, and you have to reverse your credit by crediting the amount and by debiting the amount through DRC03 and provide the proof of that, and after that only you can claim the refund of the amount. Okay, now refund in case of deemed export. Section 147 of CGST Act provides that the government may, on the recommendations of the council, notify certain supplies of goods as deemed export, where goods supplied do not leave India and payment for such supplies is received either in Indian rupees or in convertible foreign exchange. If such goods are manufactured in India, who are considered as deemed exports. Now, one thing is to be noted that normal exports and deemed exports are two separate things. You cannot merge them. Deemed exports में गवर्नमेंट ने कुछ स्पेसिफाई कर रखे हैं authorities को, which if we are supplying any goods to them, then only it will be considered as deemed export. They are supply of goods by a registered person against advance authorization, supply of capital goods by a registered person against export promotion capital goods authorization, supply of goods by a registered person to export oriented unit, supply of goods by bank or a public sector undertaking specifying in notification number 50/2017 against advance authorization. In this case, there are two ways of taking refund. The person who are eligible to claim refund is recipient and the supplier involved. The recipient, in case of recipient, that is EOU or a EPCG, the recipient of deemed export supplies, the taxpayer holds active GSTN. He should have an active GST number. Balance in the electronic credit ledger must be greater than or equal to the amount of refund to be claimed. That the balance amount which is in the electronic credit ledger, it should be greater than the or equal to the amount of refund to be claimed. and GST or 3B must be filed for the relevant taxpayer. If all the returns have not been filed, then you cannot claim the refund. The supplier of deemed export, acknowledgement by the jurisdictional tax officer of advance authorization or EPCG, as the case may be, that the said deemed export supplies have been received, or a copy of tax invoice duly signed by the recipient export oriented unit that the said deemed export supplies have been received. In this case, if a supplier is making a refund application, in that case you have to take an acknowledgement that the goods or services have been provided to EPCG or advance authorization, and or a copy of tax invoice which has been signed by EOU that goods has been provided to them. Undertaking by the recipient that no ITC of such supplies has been availed by them means EOU have not taken any ITC of that amount and they have not used that ITC. Undertaking by the recipient that he shall not claim any refund in respect of such supplies, and the supplier may claim the refund. These are the undertakings which are to be provided while filing the refund by the supplier of deemed export. Means the EOU have not even taken the ITC, they have not availed them, they have not utilized them, they are not going to take the refund of such ITC. In that case only you can claim the refund of this ITC amount. The applicant, in order to claim refund, may make an application before the expiry of 2 years from the relevant date. Now, calculation of limitation period when the deficiency memo is issued. This is a very good amendment that has recently come on 18th May 2021 in the notification. I will read it out for you all. Rule 93 of CGST Rules 2017 provides that where the officer notices deficiency in the refund application, the same will be communicated to the refund applicant in Form GST RFD 03, asking the claimant to file a fresh refund application after rectification of such deficiency. Circular number 125/44/2019 clarified at paragraph number 12 that the filing of the fresh refund application must also be done within the limitation of 2 years from the relevant date, even though the original refund application has been filed within the said period. Now in this case, कई बार ऐसा होता था कि deficiency memo हमें 15 days के अंदर नहीं आता था, हमें आएगा वो महीने बाद, 2 महीने बाद, 3 महीने बाद, ऐसा भी हुआ है. So in that case, कई बार क्या हो जाता था, the period of 2 years from the relevant date have already expired, so we cannot file the refund application now. In that case, this was a hardship for a refund. Now a proviso has been added to Rule 93 to provide the time period from the date of filing of the original application till the communication of deficiency in Form RFD 03 shall be excluded from counting the limitation period of 2 years. That means the duration on which you have done the application till the deficiency memo is received, that duration is deducted from, is excluded from counting the limitation period of 2 years. Hence, अगर आपने first application within the time period कर दी है and जितना time duration बचता है, that amount, that duration is still in your hand for filing the revised application. अब इसमें एक और issue ये आया था उस time पे कि हम रिवाइज्ड एप्लीकेशन जब फाइल कर रहे हैं तो वो वही एप्लीकेशन को हम एक्सेस नहीं कर पाते हैं, एंड देन यू हैव टू फाइल अ न्यू रिफंड एप्लीकेशन. सो इन दैट केस जो न्यू रिफंड एप्लीकेशन हम फाइल कर रहे हैं, दैट डेट शुड नॉट बी कंसिडर्ड एज द न्यू डेट. द डेट ऑफ प्रीवियस रिटर्न, previous refund application should be considered as the main date. Okay, one more addition has been done. Withdrawal of refund application. So you can even withdraw the refund application. Sub-rule 5 and 6 has been inserted in Rule 90 to permit the withdrawal of refund application RFD 01 at any time before the issuance of provisional refund sanction on order in GST RFD 04 or final refund sanction order in form GST RFD 06 or payment order in form GST RFD 05 or refund withhold order in form GST RFD 07 or notice in form GST RFD 08. The withdrawal of the refund application is required to be made in form GST RFD 01W. On submission of withdrawal application, any amount debited from the electronic credit ledger or cash ledger shall be credited back to the respective ledger. Why this provision has been inserted? कई बार ऐसा होता था कि हम गलती से कोई रिफंड एप्लीकेशन फाइल कर देते थे एंड दैट अमाउंट गेट्स क्रेडिटेड फ्रॉम योर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर और एंड डिपार्टमेंट डेफिशिएंसी मेमो 15-20 डेज बाद में इशू करता है, तो तब वो हमारे अकाउंट में आता था. तो ड्यूरिंग दैट ड्यूरेशन अगर हमें कोई रिटर्न फाइल करना है एंड हमारा क्रेडिट लेजर में वो बैलेंस अमाउंट है नहीं, तो हमें अमाउंट या तो कैश लेजर में डिपॉजिट करना पड़ता है, तभी हम उसका रिटर्न फाइल कर सकते हैं. सो अब गवर्नमेंट ने बोल दिया कि अगर गलती से आपने कर दिया है रिटर्न फाइल, तो आपको 15-20 दिन या जो भी डेफिशिएंसी मेमो इशू होने से तक का ड्यूरेशन आपको वेट नहीं करना पड़ेगा. यू कैन ऑटोमेटिकली withdraw your refund application and that amount will get credited in your credit ledger or your cash ledger, and then you can file your returns. Said facility shall allow the withdrawal of refund application filed erroneously and hence facilitate quicker refiling than waiting for the officer to issue the deficiency memo and then carry out the refiling. Now we'll take a look to the relevant dates. This relevant date has been amended on 1st Feb 2019. Before that, the date was the in case of export, the at present it is date on which ship or aircraft in which the goods are loaded leaves India. Means जब हमने एक्सपोर्ट करा है, जब वो एक्सपोर्ट हो गया है, यहाँ से इंडिया से निकल गया, उस डेट से लेके 2 साल के अंदर अंदर हमें रिफंड की एप्लीकेशन कर देनी है. It was previously the year end in which the goods has been exported. Year end of that means 31st March. From that year, 2 years are available for filing and refund application, which has been reduced to the date on which the ship or aircraft in which the goods are loaded or leaves India. From that 2 years, you can file the application. On account of excess payment, the date of payment 2 years. From the date of payment of tax, in that duration only you can claim the refund. On account of export of goods by land, date on which goods pass the customs frontier of India, 2 years from the date of that. On account of export of goods by post, 2 years from the date of dispatch of goods by post office concerned to a place outside India. On account of export of service before payment, date of receipt of convertible foreign exchange or Indian rupees where permitted by RBI. Means 2 years from the receipt of convertible foreign exchange or Indian rupees wherever it is being permitted. Export of service against advance payment, 2 years from the date of issue of invoice. On account of deemed export, 2 years from the date of filing of return relating to deemed export. Means जो भी returns हमें file करने हैं, deemed export being a supplier or recipient, in that duration we have to see that हमारे returns file हो गए, उस return file होने के 2 years के अंदर अंदर हम लोग refund की application कर सकते हैं. On account of finalization of provisional assessment, date of the adjustment, 2 years from the date of adjustment of tax after the final assessment. In pursuance of order in favor of taxpayer by the appellate authority, appellate tribunal or court, date of communication of the judgment or order on account of accumulated unutilized input tax credit of GST under inverted duty structure. 2 years from the due date of furnishing of return for the period in which the claim of refund arises. So पहले जो था अनयूटिलाइज इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट का कि 2 साल फ्रॉम द ईयर एंड, वो नहीं है. ड्यू डेट ऑफ फर्निशिंग ऑफ रिटर्न मीन्स आज अगर हमने अप्रैल अगस्त मंथ में कोई भी रिटर्न किया है, एक्सपोर्ट किया है, इन दैट केस अगर हमारा क्वार्टर मंथली है तो अगस्त मंथ का 20th September will be the due date, and अगर quarterly है September तो October 20th October due date of furnishing of the return for the period in which the claim of refund arises. Claim of refund by a UIN holder. Last date of the quarter in which the supplies were made. 6 months. Over here it is not 2 years. 6 months from the last day of the quarter in which the supplies were received. Claim of refund by casual or non-resident taxable person. Relevant date is the date of payment of tax, but refund to be claimed in the last return to be furnished by casual or non-resident taxable person. उन्हें जो भी last return हम फाइल करेंगे उस रिटर्न के अंदर उनको अपना रिफंड क्लेम कर लेना है, refund amount. Claim of refund of cash ledger in case of person other than supplier. The date of receipt of goods or service or both by such person. That means 2 years from the date of receipt of goods or service or both by such person. Now we'll see the documents required for refund application. This is very important. If proper documentation is being provided for refund application, your refund is guaranteed. So you have to provide your documents in a proper way. We'll discuss these. Refund of unutilized ITC on account of export without payment of tax. What are the documents required? You have to provide copy of GSTR 2A of the relevant period. If any invoice is not reflecting in GSTR 2A, then you can attach the statement of the invoices which are being not reflected in GSTR 2A. Self-certified copies of invoices entered in Annex B whose details are not found in GSTR 2A of the relevant period. That means if you don't have to provide all the invoices, only those invoices which are not reflected in GSTR 2A are to be provided. Statement 3A under Rule 89, BRC FIRC in case of export of services and shipping bill in case of export of goods. So if you are exporting goods, then shipping bill is to be provided, and if you are exporting services, export of services being there, then BRC and FIRC document are to be provided. Refund of tax paid on export of service made with payment of tax. If you are making claiming refund of tax paid with payment of tax, then BRC, FIRC or any other document indicating the receipt of sale proceeds of services. In this also you have to provide your GSTR 2A, and if any invoice which is not being reflected in GSTR 2A, that invoice copy is to be provided. Self-declaration regarding non-prosecution under sub-rule 1 or rule 91 of CGST rules for availing the provisional refund. Refund of unutilized ITC on account of supplies made to SEZ unit developer without payment of tax. In case if you are making to SEZ unit without payment of tax, then in that case also copy of GSTR 2A of the relevant period is to be attached, and statement of invoices is to be attached. In this case, one clarification has been inserted in circular number 147 that the invoices of RCM or import invoices and ISD invoices are not available in 2A. This relaxation has been provided because of COVID. But before this, if RCM invoices which were not reflected in 2A, are we required to upload? Are we not eligible to take the refund of that? No, you are eligible to take the refund of those credit also, and you have to provide the documents of import of any import invoices, or if any RCM has been paid on any invoices or ISD invoices. So you can claim the refund of those invoices also. Self-certified copies of invoices entered in Annexure B, whose details are not found in GST or 2A or relevant period. Endorsement letter is to be provided. Self-certified the two-way copy and invoice details. Refund of ITC on account of accumulated due to inverted text structure. Copy of 2A for the relevant period. Statement of invoices and self-certified copies entered in Annexure B. They have provided some 5 documents, and 5 MBs documents can be provided. So you have to provide all the documents. One thing is to be taken care, as it has been electronic. Now you won't be able to meet the department person, the proper officer. In that case, the documentation should be proper. The documents, the purchase document should be proper. So for that, one suggestion is this: while making any export, you can suggest your client that the purchase should be made in a separate bill only. If you are exporting any goods, the purchase of those goods should be in a separate invoice, and if any domestic sale is done, that purchase invoice should be separate. This makes a very clear picture for making refund, and it gets easier for claiming the refund, and you are not required to give an explanation that in this invoice 10 units has been used for export and this much unit has been used for domestic supply. So it's always recommended that if it is possible, then you should try and take separate invoices for your export and for your domestic sales. It makes easier for claiming the refund. Refund to supplies of tax paid on deemed export. In deemed export, as we have understood, we have to provide the undertaking that if the supplier is claiming the refund, that the recipient has not claimed the refund, and he's not going to claim any refund, and all those undertakings are to be provided. In case of recipient is taking refund, he has to provide that the supplier is not going to claim any refund of the tax amount, and only the recipient is eligible to take the refund. These are the documents which are to be provided. Refund of excess payment of tax, over here you have to provide some declarations and undertakings. And refund of tax on intrastate and interstate supply, in that case you have to provide a statement that undertaking that this is not wrongfully taken, and the goods are actual of interstate and it has been wrongly taken as intrastate. An explanation is to be given, and proper description is to be given as to which invoices, as to specify that your goods are of interstate. Refund on account of assessment, provisional assessment or appeal, you have to provide a proof of payment of pre-deposit made earlier for which the refund is being claimed. Reference number of that, if you have made the payment through your challan, you have to provide that challan copy and pre-deposit receipt. The order number, you have to provide the copy of the assessment order that has come in your favor for claiming the refund. Refund on account of any other ground or reason, documents or in the support of the claim. So these are the documents which you are required to be you are required to provide. Now going further, what are the interest on delayed refund? So if refund has been withheld, then government will pay interest to us at 6%. मीन्स लेती तो 24% या 18% है, बट देगी सिर्फ 6%. So refund has not, and if refund has not been paid within 60 days, then 6% interest per annum. And refund arising from an order by a court or an authority or appellate tribunal or adjudicating authority has not paid within 60 days, then 9%. Now, when the proper officer withheld your refund amount? Yes. They can withhold your refund amount where a refund is due to the registered person who has defaulted. Who has defaulted in furnishing any return, or who is required to pay tax or interest or penalty which has not been stayed by any court, tribunal or appellate authority by the specified date. The proper officer may withhold payment of refund due until the said person has furnished the return or paid the tax और इंटरेस्ट और पेनल्टी इन एनी केस. अब इसमें लिखा है कि अगर उन्होंने रिटर्न फाइल नहीं किया है, फर्स्ट थिंग इज दैट हम अगर रिटर्न नहीं फाइल करते हैं तो जीएसटी पोर्टल हमें रिफंड की एप्लीकेशन करने ही नहीं देता. बट ठीक है, दिस हैज बीन स्पेसिफाइड इन द लॉ दैट इफ यू हैव नॉट फाइल्ड द रिटर्न देन यू वोंट बी allowed to claim the refund and that amount can be withheld. Deduct the refund due or any tax or interest penalty fee or any other amount which the taxable person is liable to pay but which remains unpaid under this act or under the existing law. मीन्स अगर कहीं कोई भी लॉ में या कोई एक्ट में उनको लग रहा है कि इसने टैक्स नहीं भरा है, इन दैट केस दे कैन विथहेल्ड योर टैक्स अमाउंट. फॉर द पर्पस of this subsection, the expression specified date shall mean the last date of filing the appeal under this act. But one thing is to be noted: no withholding of the disbursal of the sanctioned amount by the proper officer. Means if they have provided a disbursal amount, if they have provided a sanction amount, if they have sanctioned your refund amount and they have disbursed that amount, then in that case they cannot withhold your disbursed amount. For if they have found any queries or any amount that they wouldn't have refunded, in that case they have to file the appeal against such order and not withholding of disbursement of sanctioned amount. Means they cannot withhold your disbursement amount, they have to file appeal against such order. Section 5411 specifies that where an order arising where an order giving rise to refund in the subject matter of an appeal or further proceedings, or where any other proceedings under this act is pending and the commissioner is of the opinion that grant of such refund is likely to adversely affect the revenue in the said appeal or other proceedings or on account of malfeasance or fraud committed, he may, after giving the taxable person an opportunity of being heard, is to be given before withholding the refund till such time as may be determined. Now we'll see that what is as per section 57, what is consumer welfare fund? Consumer welfare fund is the amount, is a fund which was created to promote and protect the welfare of consumer, create consumer awareness and strengthen the consumer movement in the country, particularly in rural areas. Amount of refund which is not payable to the applicant is credited in the consumer welfare fund. Means अगर proper officer को लग रहा है that if this amount is being refunded to the assessee, it will do an unjust enrichment or this will not be fair, and if they consider that this amount is not to be refunded, that person is not eligible for this refund, that amount is credited in the consumer welfare fund. what amount is being credited in consumer welfare fund, the amount referred to in subsection 5 of section 54, any income from investment of the amount credited to the fund and such any other monies received by it. What is to be done for with that amount, that amount is to be utilized for the to provide the assistance to protect the welfare of the consumer as per the rules made by the government. One or 2 points are to one point I want to discuss is that under section 54 54(8)(a), previously it was that if we are filing any refund application, we have to go to CGST officer also and to SGST department also for claiming the refund. Means if the file will first go to CGST department and then it will go to SGST department. CGST department clears your amount within 15 days, but for SGST, it really used to take time. So, subclause has been added, that is section 54(8)(a), where there will be a single department for with whom you can claim the refund of CGST. It can be CGST as per your ward, it can be CGST or SGST, and there will be a single point where you can claim the refund. And the provisional amount will be 90% within, you will receive 90% within 7 days. In case of refund of tax paid, while export of goods, within you will get 90% amount within 7 days. And if they feel, in this case, one thing is to be noted that they cannot hold your amount if they find some minute difference in your uh, while assessing. They have to provide 90% refund within 7 days, and then they can proceed for any further assessment if they if they find it that any assessment is to be done, but they cannot hold your amount. And अगर कुछ लगता है कि गलत है तो पहले एक बार रिफंड करना पड़ेगा, and then they can file an appeal. One more thing I need to discuss is that in earlier time, you one could was not able to file the refund application across different financial year. Means if you have made any purchase in the March month and you have selling it in the April month, it was difficult to claim the credit, claim the refund of the credit that was accumulated in the March month, because your sale is done in April month. So this relaxation has been given, that now the refund of across differential financial year is being given in as per notification 137 2020. I hope I have covered all the points. Yes. Okay, I have covered all the points. Is there any query? Chat box.
Shakshi, there are few questions in the
Yeah.
chat box, I think.
I had taken LUT. Can I issue invoice to SEZ unit with payment of tax? Yes. If you have LUT, that gives you a that if you don't want to make a invoice, issue invoice of to SEZ with payment of without payment of tax, that gives you that relaxation. But if you want to make uh, an invoice with payment of tax, you can make the invoice. Can I get this PPT? Yes, it will be shared. I guess it will be shared by the department, by the branch. What is the procedure to get the refund of accumulated ITC in case of winding up of the unit? In case of, means if you are selling the unit, what you want to, if you can describe me in a better way. Neerav sir, Neerav Shah.
Sakshi, I think the question is if the company is going. Nero, if you can just unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yes, hello. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Dhruv bhai. Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello. I'm audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. We are not transferring the unit. We have just kept the building and plant is separate. We sold separately, and we are
Sorry, Neerav.
planning to winding up the unit.
Okay, it's a branch.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. Now it's on.
No, it's a unit itself, not a branch, but we are not transferring it altogether. If a ITC 04 form, I think.
Okay.
But we are not transferring at all. We just like that a merger or kind of thing that we are not going to take over. Someone is not going to take over the existing unit.
There is no merger or acquisition. Okay.
There is nothing. Yeah, there is not like a acquisition. Nobody is going to take over. We are selling our plant and machinery and the other furniture, so you can say office equipment separately.
You have any stock
Closing
in
the
that?
production. Not right now.
So only the capital goods you are selling,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
still you have the ITC left out
Yeah,
after selling.
because
No, you cannot claim the refund of that. That ITC cannot be refunded because that
And
is.
Neerav,
hello.
practically it will
Yes, okay.
is not possible to have such kind of ITC. Practically you can't have such ITC because you have to reverse the ITC of assets as well. When you are selling the
Yes.
assets, you have to reverse the input credit taken. So mostly તમારા
On
પાસે કોઈ credit બચે નહીં.
Exactly.
No, if I'm selling the asset, I have to pay the GST on the selling value, no?
સેલિંગ પર તો ભરવો પડે, પણ અસેટ ની ઇનપુટ ક્રેડિટ જે લીધેલી હોય
वो भी रिवर्स करनी
રિવર્સ
पड़ेगी.
કરવી પડશે ને because capital good છે.
मींस
તો એ
अगर
તો
उस
ડબલ
ड्यूरेशन
ટેક્સેશન
5
નથી
years
હું
के
ક્રેડિટ
अंदर
રિવર્સ પણ કરું અને સેલ ઉપર પણ ભરું તો હું કેપિટલ એસેટ પે કરું એના ઉપર જીએસટી પણ પે કરું અને મેં જે લીધી હતી એ ટાઈમ પર એને રિવર્સ કરું તો ડબલ ટેક્સેશન ના થયું વિપિનભાઈ?
रिवर्सल का ना एक फॉर्मेट है कि 5 साल के अंदर अंदर अगर आपने रिवर्सल किया, सेल किया है कोई भी फिक्स एसेट, तो उसका कुछ डिडक्ट होके आपको उतना अमाउंट रिवर्स करना पड़ता है, भले आप सेल पे भी एक टैक्स लगा रहे हो तो भी. तो दैट इज अ पॉलिसी इन, मतलब जो है कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी बट है, आपको रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा उस पे. तो जनरली अपने पास आईटीसी बचती नहीं है. इन केस फिर भी बच जाती है. आई हैव सीन, मेरा एक क्लाइंट है जिसका एक यूनिट बंद हुआ है और उसका आफ्टर सेलिंग ऑल्सो क्रेडिट माइन्यूट अमाउंट थी बट बच गई थी अराउंड 50,000 ओनली, बट वो रिफंड नहीं मिलती है, ना ही वो अपन ट्रांसफर कर सकते हैं.
Okay, so better to take over by someone.
हाँ,
If
इट इज
someone take
ऑलवेज
over the
बेटर
entire
कि
unit,
हाँ कि और टेक ओवर भी उसी स्टेट में होता है तो ही उसको आप ट्रांसफर कर सकते हो. अगर स्टेट चेंज होता है तो भी ट्रांसफर नहीं होती वो क्रेडिट. तो इन शॉर्ट कि अगर स्टेट चेंज होता है तो दैट अमाउंट, ये क्लॉज में भी इसलिए है क्योंकि उस स्टेट का लॉस हो रहा है, क्योंकि आप दूसरे स्टेट में जा रहे हो तो वो क्रेडिट ऑटोमेटिकली दूसरे स्टेट को ट्रांसफर हो जाएगी. तो इन दैट केस ऑल्सो अगर सेम स्टेट में ही ट्रांसफर और वो हो रहा है तो उस केस में ही अलाउ किया गया है दैट क्रेडिट इज टू बी ट्रांसफर्ड, अदरवाइज आपको वो वेव ऑफ ही कर देनी पड़ेगी. आप उस चीज का रिफंड नहीं ले सकते, वो आपके लिए यूजलेस हो जाएगी.
but ma'am,
नॉट ऑडिबल सर.
it's possible कि जो मैं एसेट सेल कर रहा हूँ उसके ऊपर जीएसटी लगेगा, मैं इसका सम यूटिलाइज कर पाऊंगा और वी हैव टू पे इन कैश ओनली दैट सर.
सॉरी.
हेलो,
हाँ, आईटीसी
हेलो,
यूज कर सकते हैं व्हाइल
हेलो,
सेलिंग द. हेलो.
ओके, हेलो,
हाँ, you are
हेलो,
audible. While selling the capital goods, you can utilize that ITC.
ITC क्लियर यूज तो थोड़ा ना जैसे तुम सेल करते. थैंक यू रिकेन.
In case of a new project being set up by a manufacturing company, there is a huge balance of accumulated input tax credit of 150 crore. The unit is likely to come into production after 2 years, and there may be further accumulated input tax credit of 100 crores. Whether the company can claim the refund of ITC in any manner before coming into production? No, you cannot claim the refund of that, because this credit is because you have your manufacturing company, means you have utilized this credit, and this credit can only be used for your sale, can only be utilized while selling the product. It cannot be refunded. For capital goods, it's higher of GST either on transaction value or reversal of ITC as per formula. Yeah. Any other questions?
I think there are no further questions.
Okay.
Shyam,
Yes.
I request you to please formally give a vote of thanks for Sakshi.
I hope I have cleared all the topics, and it was pretty clear for everyone.
Yes, it was a nice lecture.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. This has surely imparted our knowledge, and most of our doubts are cleared. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, all the participants. And one last thing, I request last year's study circle member to please collect their gift from branch.
Very excellent gift. We got a very good bag. So I'll request everyone, those who are members, please collect. Shyam, you give the timeline. क्या आटला डेट સુધી લઈ જાય તો જ આપવાની, બાકી નહીં આપવાની.
I request every 15th June સુધી બધા please collect કર લો, so that branch staff is also relieved from that particular burden. આપણે એક ડેડલાઇન રાખીને 15 તારીખ સુધી હું પ્રકાશભાઈને તો કહીશ જ કે બધાને એક વાર ફરી રિમાઇન્ડ કરે, બટ આઈ રિક્વેસ્ટ જેની પણ ગિફ્ટ બાકી હોય તો પ્લીઝ કલેક્ટ કરી લેવડાવો.
And Dhruvik, if you have a photo of that bag, તો એ પણ મૂકી દેજો ને please.
અત્યારે નથી.
If you have,
I'll try to share it on the group. Okay. Thank you everyone.